The nanny is fired, Grant Whitaker said, jabbing a finger toward the gate. Now, mud streaked the marble patio. Two small bodies stood in it, dripping. A makeup artist and a cameraman froze. The PR team went silent. A gardener held his breath in the hedge. Ava grabbed Sophia's leg. "Don't let him," she cried, streaking Sophia's jeans with brown handprints. Finn tucked behind Sophia's knee, eyes wide. Sophia didn't move. "Mr. Whitaker," she said, steady but urgent, "please look at this first." She held out a mud-smeared envelope. It had his name on it, in a handwriting he knew. He didn't even glance. "Security," he barked. "Get her out. Get the kids inside. We're live-in 15. "Dad, stop," Ava shouted, voice shaking. "It's Mom's." Grant's jaw tightened. "Give me my children," he said. He took Finn's wrist and pulled, hard enough to make Finn stumble. Finn yelped. Ava broke into sobs. Sophia swallowed. "Let me explain. Explain dirty children in this house," Grant cut in. "Explain why they look like they crawled out of a pit moments before national TV." She held up the envelope again. "It's from Marin." His hand flashed. He slapped the envelope from Sophia's fingers. It hit the stone with a wet smack, sliding under a teak chair. Mud splattered his shoes. His face darkened. "Enough," he said. "You're done. Pack and leave by tonight. Clifford, escort her." Ava clung harder. "No, she's good." Grant tugged his daughter away. "Inside now." Sophia exhaled, watching the envelope disappear under the chair. She didn't reach for it. Security moved in. The cameraman lowered his lens. The housekeeper stared at the ground. The PR manager whispered, "We can still salvage this." Ava's scream cracked. "Don't take Sophia." Sophia crouched to Ava's level. "Eyes on me," she said softly. "Breathe like we practiced." She placed a muddy hand against her own belly, then her chest. "In, out." Ava hiccuped a breath, then another. Finn mirrored her. Grant glanced at the PR manager, then at the lens. "Wipe them down," he said. "Hide the stains. Where's wardrobe?" Sophia stood and met his eyes. "Read the letter," she said. "If you still want me gone, I'll go." He didn't blink. "Clifford," he repeated. Two guards stepped in. Sophia didn't resist as they led her toward the side gate. She looked back once. "It's under the chair," she said. "It won't wait forever." Grant pulled his children toward the sliding glass doors. Mud smeared across glass as little palms pushed. The door shut. The latch clicked. On the patio, the envelope lay half hidden, the ink bleeding into brown. Inside, steam rattled in a marble bathroom. The nanny's name rolled through the house like a curse. 15 minutes. That was all the PR team had promised. 15 minutes of soft dad with perfect children in a gleaming house. No mud, no cracks. "Soap," Grant snapped, scrubbing Finn's arms. "Hold still." Finn jerked. "It hurts." Grant pressed harder. "We don't play in filth," he said. His voice was flat, controlled. "We are not animals." "Mom said mud's okay," Ava whispered from the other sink. She watched him in the mirror, chin trembling. "Mom liked it." "Mom's not here," he said, and instantly hated how it sounded. He rinsed Finn's elbow until the water ran clear. He reached for a towel. "We're done. Change. We're going on camera." Finn flinched at the towel. He pulled away. He shook his hands hard as if throwing the water off. The towel brushed his skin. He yelped again. "Finn," Grant warned. "Stop," Ava blurted, stepping between them. "He doesn't like the scratchy towel." Grant blinked. He looked at the towel. Egyptian cotton, the softest money could buy. He looked at his son, shaking by the sink. He looked at the clock. 11 minutes. "I'll air dry," Ava said, grabbing a hairdryer. She set it to low. She held it near Finn's hands. His shoulders loosened. He watched the water bead and vanish. Grant stepped back. The PR manager poked his head in. "We're on in 8. Wipe faces. Hide that stain on Ava's dress. We'll shoot waist up." Ava's mud-splashed dress clung to her legs. She glanced at Grant. "We can wear the blue ones, the ones that feel like water." "No wardrobe changes," the PR manager said, already moving down the hall. "Continuity." Grant closed his eyes for 1 second. He saw Sophia's hand holding that envelope. A name he hadn't seen written by anyone but billers and assistants in years. Marin's loops and slants. It had looked like hers. For a second, his breath had hitched. He shook it off. 7 minutes. By the time they reached the living room set, the kids were mostly clean above the waist. Makeup dabbed a bit of concealer beneath Finn's eyes. Ava smoothed her hair. The camera red light lifted. A running timer glowed. The host smiled. Today, America gets a rare look into the home of Grant Whitaker, the man who built an empire on clean technology. A single father, a visionary CEO, a man who Finn's hand twitched. Ava's chest rose too fast. Her eyes landed on the patio door, on the mud beyond it, on the teak chair. The deciding place. Grant followed her gaze. For a heartbeat, he saw the edge of white under the chair, letters soaked and thick. He looked back to the camera, the host turned. And joining him, his two beautiful kids, Ava and Finn. "Say hello," the PR manager hissed from off screen. Finn stared at the host's shiny teeth, loud, bright, too much, his fingers clenched at his sides. "Hi," Ava whispered. The host leaned in. "What's the best thing about your dad?" Ava's gaze darted to Grant, then to the door. Then to her hands. She swallowed. He likes things clean." Grant smiled for the camera. He felt his jaw ache. The host beamed. "We have a little surprise outside for the kids after this. A play area, special toys." Ava's breathing sped up. Her eyes glassed. She glanced toward the patio again, toward where Sophia had gone. "I don't want toys," she said, too thin. "I want—" Finn covered his ears. He started humming. A warning sound. The PR manager made a non-committal slicing gesture. The cameraman zoomed the shot tighter to avoid Finn's shaking shoulders. Grant's voice softened for the first time that morning. "Buddy," he said, "we'll be done soon." Finn's hum escalated. He bolted, straight past the camera, straight to the glass. "Finn!" Grant caught him by the elbow. Finn screamed shrill. He kicked. The camera caught the instant a small shoe thudded into his father's thigh. The host froze. The PR manager's face drained of color. The camera kept rolling. Someone whispered, "Cut." No one moved. Ava's voice sliced through the room. "We want Sophia." The sound hit like a dropped tray. The camera light went dark. The PR manager exhaled. "We'll fix it in post," he said, but his voice shook. Grant let go of Finn. He stood there, breathing, eyes on the patio, on that sliver of white under the chair. His hands flexed. The housekeeper appeared in the doorway, eyes down. "Sir," she said quietly. "Clifford asked me to tell you Miss Alvarez packed quickly. She's gone." Ava made a sound like a hiccup and a cry. Finn crawled under the coffee table. The PR manager swallowed. "Grant, we need to reset." Grant didn't answer. He walked to the patio door. He slid it open. He stepped outside. The gardener tried to speak. Grant lifted a hand. Silence. He crouched. He reached under the teak chair. His fingers touched wet paper. He pulled the envelope free. It was thick, heavy. The ink seeped. "Marin," it said, his name beneath it. The way she wrote it when she was teasing or serious. The way she wrote it when she asked him if he could make coffee without checking his calendar. His hands were muddy now, too. He didn't notice. He slid a finger under the flap. The paper held stubborn. He tugged. "Sir," the PR manager's voice was careful. "We have people waiting." He tore the envelope open. A folded letter slid out, printed on linen paper. A corner was streaked brown. There was something else inside. A packet. Seeds, maybe. He unfolded the letter. It was her. Marin's voice came off the page. He didn't have to hear it to hear it. "Grant, if you're holding this, it means they found it. You promised to build us a glass house. I said only if there's dirt left. If I'm not there, promise me you'll let them dig. Let them get messy. Let them make noise. Finn needs pressure. Ava needs permission. You need both. The day you stop letting them be kids is the day you start losing them. If you forget, plant the seeds in my tin. The old corner of the garden, the mud will stain. That's how you know it's working. Put your hands in. With love and dirt, M." His thumb left a clean streak where it ran across her M. He read it again. He didn't feel the sun. He didn't hear the phones buzzing behind him. He only saw his wife's loops. He only saw the place beyond the hedges where once there was a vegetable patch before he paved most of it over and brought in glass planters and drip systems that never left a mess. The gardener cleared his throat. "Sir," he said, barely above a whisper. "Miss Alvarez asked us not to re-roll the sod yet, said the kids were making something with their hands." Grant's throat cinched. He kept reading. "P.S. If he tries to wash them clean too fast, tell him I said he's being a coward." He huffed something like a laugh and broken glass. He turned. The PR manager was halfway across the patio. He stopped when he saw Grant's face. Behind Grant, the camera crew pretended to adjust equipment. The housekeeper looked at his muddy hands like a stain she'd never seen there. Ava stepped onto the patio. She didn't ask permission. She walked up to him. She saw the letter. Her eyes flooded. "You read it." He nodded. Finn peered around the doorframe. He watched his father's mud-smeared fingers. He watched the small packet of seeds in Grant's palm. His shoulders dropped a fraction. Grant turned to the gardener. "Where?" The gardener pointed to the back corner, past the sculpture, beyond the manicured hedges, a rectangle where the sod had been cut and peeled back. Dirt. Dark. "Real?" Grant closed his eyes again. He opened them. He looked at his children. "Come on," he said. "Help me." They walked together. The PR manager whispered something about optics. The host checked his notes. The cameraman lifted his lens without being told. The red light flicked on again. At the edge of the rectangle, the soil gave under their shoes. Grant knelt. His suit pants sank into mud. He didn't care. He dug his fingers in, hands shaking. Finn crouched beside him. He placed his palm flat. Pressure. He pressed until the mud rose at the sides. He exhaled like a small engine turning off. Ava picked up her mother's seeds. "Where do they go?" she asked no one and everyone. Grant's voice blew out of him. "Where she wanted them," he said. The seeds fell from a small packet into a small hand. They made a soft sound, not dramatic, just true. He planted them with his children. His watch beeped. He didn't stop. He pressed soil down. He felt its drag under his nails. He felt his wife beside him in the only way that was left. The letter lay on the grass, anchored by a stone. The PR manager's mouth moved, emptying air. The housekeeper wiped a quiet tear with the back of her wrist. The cameraman swore softly and kept the frame tight on 3 pairs of messy hands. It wasn't a crisis that solved itself. It didn't look clean, but it was the first thing all morning that made sense. The board called. His phone buzzed mad. He stood, mud on his hands and knees. He answered. "Later," he said. "Grant," someone on the speaker said. "The clip, it's already trending. You manhandled your son on camera. This is a PR wildfire, the Nanny situation." He stared at his fingers. He smelled dirt. "I found something," he said. "Do not post anything personal," the voice ordered. "We need to control the narrative. We cannot have your brand tied to filth." He looked at his children. Ava's hand closed over the seeds packet. Finn pressed his palm into mud again and sighed. Grant's shoulder unlocked for the first time in months. "Then change the brand," he said quietly and hung up. The PR manager's eyes flipped. "Grant, we should." "I need the car," Grant said. He handed the letter to the housekeeper. "Put this on my desk. Don't let anyone touch it." He turned to his kids. 20 minutes, he said, crouching so he was eye level. "I'll be back. You can stay outside. Keep your shoes off if you want. Rosa will stay with you." Ava nodded, eyes worried and hopeful all at once. "Where are you going?" "To say sorry," he said. Rosa, the housekeeper, stepped closer. "We'll wait here, sir," she said. "We'll plant more." Grant jogged to the garage. Mud flaked from his knee as he slid into the car. He told the driver an address. The driver didn't ask questions. Sophia's building was in a part of town that didn't care about his name. He took the stairs 2 at a time, mud and all. He knocked. He heard movement. The door opened a crack. She looked different, not like a nanny stiff in a uniform, just a woman in a T-shirt with flour on the shoulder and a packed suitcase on the floor behind her. "You came," she said. He lifted the letter. "You were right," he said. "I was wrong." Relief flickered across her face, then skepticism, then hurt. "You fired me in front of your children," she said, "and everyone." "I did," he said. "I was scared and angry and wrong." "What changed?" she asked. He held up the letter. "My wife," he said. He swallowed. "And you," she let him in. He stood in a living room that could fit in one of his guest bathrooms. A plant leaned toward the light. A small stack of children's books sat on a chair. A handmade poster on the wall read, "Sensory is learning." He glanced at it. Sophia followed his eyes. Finn flinched at the towel, she said. "He isn't spoiled. His skin is sensitive. The mud helps. Pressure helps. He calms when he can push against something. It isn't misbehavior. It's his nervous system asking for help." He pictured Finn's face under the towel. The yelp. He put a hand against his own chest. Just a second. "And Ava?" he asked. "Ava is grieving," Sophia said. "She thinks your love only goes to clean things. She thinks loving mud, loving things is betraying you. Letting her get messy was letting her be loved without earning it." He flinched. My company, isn't your son," she said gently. "Isn't your daughter." He sat on the edge of her couch. He felt ridiculous. He felt smaller. He felt, for once, not in control. "They dug where your wife used to garden," she added. Ava remembered. "She showed me a photo. I thought we might find something." "We did." "The letter," he said. "And the seeds," she said. "I didn't read it at first," he admitted. "I was afraid of what it would ask me to do." "Get muddy," she said, the corner of her mouth twitching. He breathed a short sound that might have been a laugh if it wasn't wet. "I can't take back this morning," he said, "but I can change what happens next. Please come back." She didn't rush to answer. She looked at him for a long moment. She looked at his mud-streaked pants and his expensive watch and his eyes. "I need conditions," she said. "Name them," he said. "You will be home for dinner 4 nights a week," she said. "You will not put your kids on camera without their consent. You will read about sensory processing. You will hire a family therapist and go. You will let them get messy." He nodded. "Yes. I want to be more than your cleanup crew," she said quietly. "I'm not there to keep your image stable. I'm there to help your kids be okay." He nodded harder. Yes, he repeated. You will not fire me by yelling in front of them, she said. If you have a problem, we talk. Yes, he said. Sophia, I am sorry, she exhaled. It loosened her shoulders. Okay, she said finally. I'll come back. He closed his eyes. Relief flooded sharp. Thank you. Her phone buzzed. She glanced at it, then showed him. A clip was already viral, his hand gripping Finn's elbow, the scream, Ava's, we want Sophia. The comments were knives and hugs mixed together. Another alert appeared, the board again. A lawyer, the PR manager, all wanting a statement. You should get ahead of it, Sophia said, but do it with the truth. I was planning to hide, he admitted. Spin. Or you could show them the letter, she said. Let your wife save you again. He ran a hand through his hair. It's ours, he said. Private. It still can be, she said. Show a piece, say you were wrong, say you're learning. Don't sell them your kids, show them your mud. He laughed, and this time it didn't crack. Come with me, he said. They returned to the house. Ava was on her knees, hands buried. Finn was making roads in the mud with a small car, humming a tune that didn't sound like a siren anymore. When Ava saw Sophia, she broke into a run so fast she forgot the mud. She jumped. Sophia caught her. Mud transferred. They didn't care. Finn looked up. He walked over. He pressed his forehead to Sophia's arm. She placed a hand on his back. He exhaled softly. Grant stood in his yard, a camera crew hovering uncertainly. He looked at them. He nodded once. In 5, the host called, confused but ready. Grant stood in front of the camera with mud on his hands. Ava and Finn stood beside him by choice, no one holding anyone by the elbow. He started without a teleprompter. This morning, he said, I did something wrong. No PR polish, no script, just facts. I fired our nanny in anger, he said. I grabbed my son when he was overwhelmed. I chose my image over my children. That's not the father I want to be. Ava slipped her hand into his. He squeezed. Finn pressed closer to Sophia's leg. Sophia stood behind the camera, just out of frame, a silent anchor. My wife left a letter, he said. He held it up. The camera zoomed on the damp edge, on the familiar handwriting. He didn't read the whole thing. He read one line. Let them get messy. He set the letter on the table. He took a breath. We're going to do that, he said. We're going to get messy. We're going to learn. We're going to plant a garden in the corner she loved. We're going to be a family on purpose, not a brand. He looked at the lens like it was a person. And I'm sorry, Sophia, he said, even if she was just out of frame. Please come back. He glanced to where she stood so viewers would know who he meant. Sophia stepped forward and took his hand quickly. The camera caught it. It caught the mud smearing across expensive watch bands and old scars. The board's text stacked up. He didn't look. The internet churned. The host blinked and then nodded like he had just witnessed an unscripted landing and was trying to act like it happened all the time. The clip spread. People who had never had a marble patio wrote paragraphs about towels and sensory issues and late wives and hands in dirt. The brand team had a heart attack. Then they calmed when they saw the stock tick back up on the back of humanity. The board scheduled an urgent review. Grant walked into it early. He set Marin's letter on the table. He told them they were going to change. Ads with perfect antiseptic living rooms were done. New campaigns would show real homes, real mess, real families. That's off-brand, a director snapped. We sell clean. We sell care, he said. That's what clean is supposed to be, they argued. They tried to leverage the clip of him yelling at his son. He didn't flinch. It's me, he said. I'm owning it. They asked who this Sophia thought she was. He answered, the person who got my children to breathe again. They pointed at the numbers. He pointed at the comments from parents who felt seen. Besides, he said, almost smiling, my wife said to do it. He left the letter on the table when he walked out. The words glowed without lights. The paper smelled softly of dirt. Even in a glass conference room 70 floors above ground, days passed. The yard filled with raised beds. Neighborhood kids came on Saturdays to dig and plant. Ava ran point like a tiny forewoman. Finn built straight lines in soil with a ruler and a toy car. He learned to tolerate more textures. Small victories were shouted like touchdowns. Grant missed a meeting to go watch a therapy session. He didn't apologize. He learned to press his palms on the floor with Finn during big feelings. He learned to stop wiping his children's hands before their feelings were wiped clean with them. He lost a director. He gained a partnership with a pediatric health org. The stock recovered. The internet moved on to other fires. The mud stayed. One afternoon, weeks later, a line of sprouted green lifted together in the corner bed. Ava called for her father. He ran, mud drying on his calf from some earlier game. He knelt and stared at tiny leaves not much bigger than his thumbnail. "What are they?" Finn asked, nose almost to the soil. "Tomatoes," Ava said confidently, like she'd made them herself. "From Mom," Grant swallowed. He reached out to touch one leaf and pulled back, not from fear, from respect. He looked at Sophia. She nodded toward the bed. "It's okay," she said. "They're strong." He placed his fingertips gently on the leaf. It wobbled and righted. He laughed low. He was not fixed. He was different. Sophia handed him a trowel. "We still have 2 beds to go," she said. "You in?" He looked at his shoes. He kicked them off. He stepped into the mud. It sucked around his feet. He grinned at his kids. "Hands," he said, and they all threw their hands into the dirt like a team on 3. People still talked sometimes. Old friends asked if he missed the neat lines. He looked at the garden, at his kids, at the scuffs on his floors, the fingerprints on the glass, the laughs in the hall. He didn't. It turned out the truth wasn't complicated. It was old and messy and stubborn. It was a woman who knew him better than he wanted to be known, writing instructions he didn't want to follow until they were the only ones that made sense. It was a nanny who met his children where they were and didn't flinch when the mess reached her knees. It was a man letting go of a spotless image in exchange for a real life. The day the tomatoes reddened, Ava brought one inside with both hands like she was carrying something holy. She set it on the counter. "Cut it," she said, "for everyone." Grant sliced it. Juice ran. Finn made a face and then took a bite and then reached for another wedge. They ate the first fruit of a decision as if it were cake. When they finished, Ava climbed onto a stool and wiped her hands on her dress without looking at anyone for permission. The housekeeper did not pounce with a rag. Grant did not flinch. He leaned against the counter, watching his children lick their fingers. He felt the grit under his own nails and didn't excuse himself. Sophia rinsed the knife and set it to dry. She looked up. He looked back. "Thank you," he said. "For what?" she asked. "For giving me my family back," he said. "And for not letting me pretend that a clean house was the same as a good home." She shrugged like it was nothing. It wasn't. Ava slid off the stool. She looked at her father with a conspirator's grin. "Race you to the mud," she said. "Shoes off," he warned automatically, then caught himself. He caught Sophia's smile. He smiled back. "Shoes optional," he corrected. They ran. Outside, the garden waited with its honest stains and small miracles. The grass was uneven in places. The hedge needed trimming. The path had footprints across it that refused to scrub out, tiny and wide. The patio had a brown smear under a chair where a letter had once slid and almost didn't get read. Grant didn't plan to power wash it. Some marks were supposed to stay.